45 has reached the all-time what they has reached an all-time low, basically, of 10,000 lies. Um, it took 45 601 days to top 5,000 false and misleading claims in the fact checkers database. False and misleading claims still fall under lies. Of course, his supporters will spin it. And average, basically, he was averaging 8 lies a day. But on April 26th of this year, just 226 days later, the president, I don't call him president, I call him the squatter because he's not really a president at all, he doesn't act like it, crossed the 10,000 mark, an average of nearly 23 lies a day in this 7-month period, which included the many Klan rallies he held before the midterm elections, the partial government shutdown over his promised border wall, and the release of the special counsel's report on Russian interference in the squatter's election. This milestone appeared unlikely when the fact checker first started this project during his first 100 days. In the first 100 days, 45 averaged less than 5 lies a day, which would have added up to about 7,000 lies in a 4-year term for the squatter. But the tsunami of untruths just kept looming larger and larger. As of April 27th, including the squatter's Klan rally that he held in Green Bay, Wisconsin, the tally in our database stands at 10,000 lies, stands at 10,111 lies in 828 days. In recent days, the squatter demonstrated why he so quickly has piled up the claims. There was a 45-minute telephone interview with Insanity on Faux News, which he made 45 lies during that interview. There was an 8-minute gaggle with reporters on the morning of April 26th, and there was 8 lies during that. There was a speech to the National Russian Association, which he also made 24 lies during that. There was a 19-minute interview with radio host Mark Levin, 17 lies, and finally there was the Klan rally that he held on April 27th, which he told 61 lies. The squatter's constant Twitter barrage also adds to his totals. All told, the squatter has racked up 71 lies in just 3 days alone, April 25th to April 27th. That's more than he made in any single month in the first 5 months since he started squatting in the White House. About 1/5 of the squatter's claims are about immigration issues, a percentage that has grown since the government shut down over funding for his promised border wall. In fact, his most repeated claim, 160 times, is that his border wall is being built, which it's not. Congress balked at funding the concrete wall he envisioned, and so he has tried to pitch a fencing and repairs of existing barriers as a wall. 45's penchant for repeating lies is demonstrated by the fact that the fact-checker database has recorded nearly 300 instances when the squatter has repeated a variation of the claim at least 3 times. He has now entered 21 bottomless Pinocchios, claims that have earned 3 or 4 Pinocchios, and which have been repeated at least 20 times. 45's campaign rallies continue to be a rich Klan rallies, basically. They call them campaign, but it's Klan rallies. Continue to be a rich source of misstatements and falsehoods, accounting for about 22% of the total. The Klan rally in Green Bay on April 27th was a little different, with claims that covered a range of issues. He exaggerated the size of trade deficits with Japan, China, and the European Union, and falsely claimed the United States loses money from such deficits, which they don't. He had said he had nothing to hide from the Russian investigation, but refused to testify under oath, so basically he has something to hide. He continued his practice of inflating the jobs created under his administration by starting to count from the election, not his inauguration. Basically, he's trying to take credit for a lot of the shit that Obama did, and that's not going to work. He launched a series of exaggerated or false attacks on Democrats, including claiming the Green New Deal will require every building in Manhattan to be replaced, which it does not, and saying Democrats support the killing of healthy babies that have not been born, which is also not true. He overstated the possible impact of the new trade agreement with Canada and Mexico in myriad ways, and trashed the North American Free Trade Agreement, even though the differences are modest. He took credit for funding a program, the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative, his administration tried to eliminate. He made a series of false claims about immigration, such as open borders bring tremendous crime. There has been no documented link between that. He claimed he passed the biggest tax cut in history, which is not true. And he said he had cut the estate tax to 0, which is also not true. He said he was 1 vote away from repealing Obamacare, which is also not true. He falsely said the United States paid for about almost 100% of NATO, which is not true. The Saudi Arabia inked $450 billion in deals with the Trump administration, which is not true. And even then, the United States subsidizes the Saudi military. He even claimed that he insisted the new embassy in Jerusalem be made of Jerusalem stone, even though ever since the British Mandate and then Palestine municipal laws have required that all buildings must be faced with this local form of limestone that has a warm golden hue. So basically, they fact checked all his lies, so it's understandable that he will lie, and there's no getting point any across to the 45 supporters that this is what they put in office.